Greetings, duelist. Welcome back to Team APS Plus. So, it's no secret that the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG is a bit of a mess right now. I've discussed this at length in a number of recent videos, but the fear of a Tier 0 format with Ishizu tier elements did in fact come true, at least as of the last YCS event. And just in general, the game has had a huge surge in power creep lately. It's really very strong. The sprites, the tier elements, the bestials, the Kashtira cards, just everything kind of feels like a bit much. It's a bit out of whack. And instead of complaining about that again today, as fun as it is, instead I'm going to be offering you guys some solutions because I thought, well, that'd be more productive. If you're the type of player who really wants to play Yu-Gi-Oh, but you're just sort of disenchanted with what modern Yu-Gi-Oh has become, then these might be really helpful for you because you don't actually want to quit or take a break because you're addicted, aren't you? Well, it's okay. I've got solutions. Now, as a quick note before we get started, these are a lot of different formats I'm going to cover, and it's kind of meant to just be a speed run of them. So I'm going to quickly and briefly explain how each one works, but if you want more information about them, I'm going to have links in the description where you can find that, links to websites and other resources. So yeah, and of course, in the comments, let me know if there are any other alternative Yu-Gi-Oh formats that I missed that maybe you think more people should try out. Hopefully you guys will give one of these a shot. So yeah, let's get into the juicy goodness, starting with Speed Duel. So this is a Konami official one. Speed Duel is kind of being positioned by Konami as an entry point into Yu-Gi-Oh! It's based off of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, where basically the players have 4,000 life points instead of 8,000. The hand size and stuff is a little bit smaller. There's only 3 monster card zones and 3 spell and trap card zones. And just the general power level of the game is a lot lower. So you're going to be basically playing these decks and strategies that are simple and kind of linear and straight to the point. I mean, it doesn't have to be linear, but I'm just, paraphrasing a bit here. The thing that separates speed duels, though, the sort of unique aspect is the skill cards. So, for instance, Pegasus here has his Millennium Eye skill card where at the start of the duel, you get to look at your opponent's opening hand and you can force them to actually mulligan and draw a new hand if you want. Or you can just take that information and kind of play the game with it. So that's really cool. Different characters have different skill cards that sort of fit their personalities or strategies. And this can be a really fun way to play. Now, as you guys know, over in the main channel, or hopefully you know, if you've been watching Team APS, right? We've done a number of house tournaments with the Speed Duel products, the recent ones like the Battle City box and the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Midterm Paradox box and all those. Those are a lot of fun. Speed Duels sort of started off on a not so great note. I don't think Konami did a great job with the marketing of it because they tried to release normal sets and that was a little weird. But now they've been basically doing products where it's like the Speed Duel Battle City box where you just get a bunch of cards sort of meant for pre-constructed play. I strongly recommend you try it out. I think you can still get those sort of things at Walmart or Target. It's kind of replaced the battle pack draft of old. So yeah, I would give Speed Duels a shot. There's plenty of information here about how to play. They have a tutorial video. Yeah, it's cool. Check it out. Okay, next one is GOAT format. This is one that you've probably heard of. GOAT format is a very popular one. It's based off of the summer of 2005 format of Yu-Gi-Oh! It gets its name from the popularity of the card Scapegoat that was used in pretty much every deck at the time period. So it has the same card pool, rule set, and ban list as that period of time. And they even show on their website this why play GOAT format thing. So current Yu-Gi-Oh! Formats emphasize technical skill in which players execute complex combos to gain a winning position over their opponent in the first few turns of the game. But GOAT format instead rewards strategic skill in which a winning position is gained over the course of a longer game through careful management of resources. So, yeah, when you think of kind of what old school Yu-Gi-Oh is, I think GOAT format is one that comes to mind for a lot of people. It's much slower. You're going to be using, different flip effect monsters. You're going to be kind of grinding your way towards a win. Boss monsters are something that you have to kind of work your way up towards. And spells in general are powerful, but they're also kind of one-time use things. And so it's a fun one. I've only played a little bit of GOAT format for myself personally, and I had a good time with it. One of the things that I like, and they do mention it here, it's that the rules in the card pool do not change in GOAT format. You're never going to have to really worry about new cards being released or your favorite deck getting hit. So yeah, also GOAT format decks can be varying prices. They used to be kind of expensive for certain cards that only had one printing, but Konami's actually been reprinting a lot of cards from GOAT format in much lower rarities, just more accessibility. So yeah, this is cool. They've got an entire website dedicated to it. You can learn how to play, some strategies, learn more about the card pool, decks, tournaments. There's Discord servers for this. This one's great. All right, next one is Edison format. So it's another popular sort of snapshot in time format. This one, though, is based on the final Shonen Jump Championship that took place in Edison, New Jersey. That's where it gets its name. I should probably zoom in a little bit here. Yeah, Quick Draw Dandy Warrior, piloted by Jeff Jones, won Shonen Jump Edison, but the top 16 decks were extremely diverse. So this is for somebody who likes, like for instance, if I go home, it actually shows the top decks from a recent tournament, right? And you can see Black Wings, you can see Light Sworns, Gladiator Beasts, Diva Hero Beat. If you want something that feels a little bit faster and more like, archetype strategy centric than GOAT format, this one is really great. Edison format, like that 2010, 2011 period of time in Yu-Gi-Oh! Was kind of a golden age and one that I really personally like. So yeah, if you want more information about this, they've got an entire website dedicated to it. They've got deck profiles, just all sorts of stuff. Now we're going to get into kind of fan favorite, fan made format. This is Trinity format. So I was put onto this recently and I have tried it out a little bit. I haven't gotten to delve too deeply into it, but this is their website. So Trinity format specifically has a few rules that are meant to sort of slow down Yu-Gi-Oh! And emphasize strategic deck building and decrease the power level. The basic rules are that you can't normal or special summon more than 3 effect monsters per turn. So that helps to kind of curb just the long combos thing. Also, you can only have 1 copy of each card in your main, extra, and side deck. So that's supposed to kind of make it feel, I guess, more like, what is it like? There's like a Magic the Gathering format. It's like the Commander's sort of like that, or Pauper. I don't know. You card game people will know. Also, the minimum deck size is 30 cards. So since you're only getting around 1 copy of each card, this sort of helps with consistency because, 40 one-off cards is a bit of a mess in Yu-Gi-Oh!, but it's easier if you have only 30. And there are also some special point system rules where if you use 5 cards over the 30 card minimum main deck size limit, then you get a point, and with each point you can actually play more copies of certain cards and things like that. So yeah, there's a ban list for this that they do have. It's different than the main TCG. There's, of course, like decks that you can sort of start with, they mentioned here. There's tournaments, there's other resources. Again, it's going to be in the description. It's a fan-made one, but it's one that, to my understanding, has been tuned really well. So it's not just sort of like some one guy saying, like, I just want this deck to work this way and this format to work this way. It's like, there's a group of people, they manage it. I think they have a Discord server. So yeah, check this all out. All right, next we're going to get into Konami's formats that they call alternate format tournaments that they somewhat support. A few of these I think are definitely defunct, like the school tournament series, generation duels. I don't know if that stuff even exists anymore, but the ones that I wanted to talk about were tag dueling does have official rules, so you can check these out. Some of the unique things about tag dueling, just to bring up one thing I wanted to kind of mention real quick, is that you do have your own decks, but you like have sort of shared like life points, and there's like an attack order and different things like that. There's sort of different rules for like you can use your partner's stuff for like Xyz summons or synchro summons and things, but also like deck building kind of has, I think like if a card's at like semi-limited, it's at 2, then I can use 1 copy and you can use 1 copy, or you can use 2 copies, but I can't use a copy. There's a lot of stuff with that, so that's one that you might want to look into is just tag dueling. There's Time Wizard format, which is Konami's way of supporting things like GOAT and Edison format, but you can actually take any snapshot in time, any particular format. You could play like the Duelist Alliance era from 2014, 2015, a lot of people like that, or TOS format, that's like 2019, Sky Striker, Salamander, Thunder Dragon, Orcus. That's a really popular one. These are meant to be a thing where you kind of gather people at your OTS store, and an OTS shop can like have them as an official tournament and actually use, get Konami prize support like OTS packs and stuff for it. But you do have to, I guess, get together with your local community and make it a thing. But you can always just play with your friends. There's also Heart of the Underdog. I made a video about this recently. This is one where it's kind of a fun decks only, low tier decks only. This one's tricky though, because something that I've brought up in past videos is like you have to kind of collaborate with the people at your local card shop to decide on what strategies and decks and archetypes and stuff are or aren't allowed, and it's sometimes tough to like agree with Yu-Gi-Oh players on stuff like that. But if you do, then you can play this format and have a lot of fun. I mentioned Jeff Jones won like one with Crystal Beasts recently, and there were other cool things that were in the top cut, like DDs and the Labyrinth deck. I've been playing that, so that's fun. Another really cool format. Also, they've got more info on all these, so you can click and find that. Common Charity format. So this is one where you can only use common cards. So if you look at the deck that you're playing right now, you'll probably notice that the cards are a nice mix of rarities. You got some commons, some rares, some supers, some ultras, some secrets. It's a lot tougher to build a deck though when all the cards can only be common. So different strategies get much stronger or just more viable, I guess I should say. I don't think anything gets stronger per se in this format. So like if you think of maybe Magic Keys or the Gunkin ship archetype, a lot of those cards have been printed common, Melfi's. It's really fun. There are also some older themes like zombies or Black Wings or even Gokis. That's one that I hear a lot about in this format. They are all very viable, and this one's fun because it's obviously very inexpensive, and it's a different format to play. So that's cool. They also have a Deck Masters one where you actually do pick a monster in your deck that becomes your deck master, and you can summon it at any time, but if it leaves the field, then you lose the game. Although you can tribute it or use it for fusion, synchro exes, or link material. But yeah, there's an entire rule set for this. I definitely want to try this out. I've actually been considering doing it for a video, so that could be fun. And then there's Rivalry of Warlords, which is, I think, kind of more of a thing where Konami curates the deck lists for you. Don't know as much about that, but you can read into it. So yeah, and what else? What's over here? This is... Okay, yeah, that's just the tag dueling thing. And the last one I wanted to talk about is Cube Draft. So if you play other card games, you might be more familiar with Cube Draft, but it's basically a drafting process. If you've seen any of our Yu-Gi-Oh! House Tournament videos, then you will get a pretty good idea of how this works. It's basically where, like, you build a cube of maybe, let's say, 200 or 300 or however many cards, and players take them kind of in groups. Like, maybe each player gets, like, 10 cards. You pick one, you pass it around the table. This is a lot of fun with friends. And you can even make your own custom cube. So it's kind of based on the Battle Pack draft thing, which I'm going to just take a quick moment to say, Konami, please reprint Battle Packs or make new ones. I hate when we make these videos and people will comment like, hey, where'd you guys get this? Can I buy this? Can I play this with friends? And there's nowhere to buy them because Battle Packs aren't technically on the shelves anymore. I guess they've tried to replace them with the Speed Duel draft boxes, but it would still be really cool if there's a Battle Pack that used like the modern kind of 5-zone, 8,000 life point rule set, but it was just catered to... All right, anyway, I'm not going to harp on much longer on that, but yeah, this is a Reddit post that kind of explains how it works, but I think that an even better resource is actually this video from the RJB Zero, is a really cool YouTuber. I actually know him from a long time back, but he made a video on how and why to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Draft format, where he explains just how it works, some of the appeal to it, how you can make a sort of cube for yourself, and some different ways you can draft it. It's really fun because with this, you can actually like design your own themed drafts. So like you can make one that's only based on synchro summoning or only based on Beast Warrior, Wing Beast, and Beast monsters, for instance, right? Like that could be the theme of it. I've wanted to make a sort of draft cube thing for myself for like a video, so that could be really cool. And one really cool thing too about like these is with draft, there's like programs that can automate or simulate the drafting process, and you could play it on Dueling Book or EDO Pro. But if you build it and like play it with your friends in real life, it's cool because you can just sleeve all the cards and store them in like just one long box and then pull it out whenever you're with friends. And that can be really cool too. All right. Hopefully that was a good introduction to some of these different alternative Yu-Gi-Oh! Formats. I tried to keep it brief. If anything caught your eye, I'll have information on it down in the description. Because modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Is crazy and people need other ways to play. So yeah, hopefully this was productive, constructive, not negative. We'll be back to that soon, don't you worry. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. All right, see you in the next one. Fast turn.